Question number 11.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Does he agree with the Prime Minister's statement with regard to his speaking with British Prime Minister David Cameron that, quote, "I just sort of said to him, where do you think it's all going? I mean, like us, I think everybody is now really focused on what's the next steps going forward." Unquote.
Honourable Order. Honourable Murray McCully.
Mr. Speaker, the member is of course quoting the Prime Minister out of context by omitting his immediately preceding sentence. Asked whether Prime Minister Cameron had raised with him the question of an inquiry in Sri Lanka, the Prime Minister commenced his answer, quote, "No, he didn't raise it," unquote. Quoted in context, the Prime Minister's answer is clear, unambiguous and, of course, correct.
Order. Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Thank you. Was the Prime Minister or the New Zealand Government ever asked by David Cameron to support his position to promote an independent inquiry into human rights abuses and war crimes in Sri Lanka? And why did the government choose not to support it, if that was the case?
Mr. Speaker, I wasn't present for the meeting that the Prime Minister held with Prime Minister Cameron, but I can make clear the government's position on this matter. As the member will know, what happened in Sri Lanka, particularly in the period leading up to the cessation of the conflict about 4 years ago, was nothing short of a major human tragedy. It is also a fact that the United Nations Secretary-General's panel, having investigated those matters, found very significant and serious fault on both sides. The government believes that there should be a process to hold those responsible to account, just as it believes there should also be a process for achieving reconciliation and also devolution in the north, where elections in September provide the opportunity to devolve power to the Chief Minister and his Tamil-led party.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
In light of his answer, will the government support an independent inquiry at the Human Rights Council meeting in March, as the UK Prime Minister David Cameron is proposing?
Mr. Speaker,
Honourable Murray McCully.
The government believes there should be accountability and an independent inquiry through some mechanism, whether it's one sponsored by the Human Rights Council or otherwise appointed, certainly is a good way forward. With regard to the UK prospect of a resolution at the Human Rights Council, depending on the actual wording contained in the resolution, we may well support it.
Speaker.
David Shearer, supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does he agree with the Prime Minister's comment about President Rajapaksa that, quote, domestically he's extremely popular and that's because people do now feel safe, unquote? Or does he believe the reports of the UN Secretary-General and the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, who say exactly the opposite, that the Sri Lankan government has not investigated nor stopped human rights abuses, and Tamils in the north certainly do not feel safe?
Honourable Murray McCully.
Speaker, I think the Prime Minister was very accurately reflecting the results of the elections in Sri Lanka, which demonstrated that President Rajapaksa's government must have been popular to have achieved such a significant election victory. It's also true to say that the elections held in September in the north demonstrate that there is a significant desire for Tamil autonomy in that province. They won 30 of the 38 seats, and the Chief Minister is a significant figure and former judge in the Tamil-led party there. Both the statements that the member has quoted, therefore, are correct.
Speaker.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that we have received an elephant in exchange for the human rights of the people in Sri Lanka, can we expect him to bring home a bear from Russia in exchange for the rights of gay athletes at the Russia's Winter Olympics?
Mr.
Honourable Murray McCully.
Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, the question of an elephant for the Auckland Zoo is one that the Auckland Zoo has been pursuing for over 2 years, and if the member if the member kept in touch with his constituency, he may well have known that.
Order! 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 The member asked a question. The minister now has every right to answer that question, and he's attempting to do so, but the level of interjection coming from my left-hand side is making it very difficult for me to hear that answer.
Mr. Speaker, as I've already indicated in an earlier answer, the government regards the events that occurred a few years ago in Sri Lanka as nothing short of a major human tragedy. We therefore believe these are matters that should be appropriately taken up with the Sri Lankan government, that accountability should be pursued, that devolution...
Order! Order! I will not warn a member again on my left-hand side. I've got to my feet on the second occasion now, asking members to give the minister a fair go. I cannot carry on doing that. I will be asking a member to leave the chamber.
Mr. Speaker,
McCully.
I'll repeat. The government regards what occurred in Sri Lanka as nothing short of a major human tragedy. We believe those responsible should be held to account, and also that devolution should occur to benefit the people in the north of Sri Lanka. We do not believe these matters should be trivialised in the manner that that member wishes to.
Order. Question number 12. Honourable Peter Dunn.
Mr. Speaker.